Welcome to Job Talks Access. I'm here with Bean Gill, the co-founder of REU Paralysis Recovery Center. Thanks for joining us, Bean.
Thanks for having me, Paul. It's great to be here.
Yeah, great. Can you maybe just start us off and tell us a bit more about REU and the kinds of things you do there?
Sure, yeah. So REU came to be in 2017. So we actually officially opened our doors on April 3rd, 2017. But the concept we have been talking about since 2013. So I guess it started when I was paralyzed in 2012, coming up on 9 years here, which is crazy. And then, I went down to the next year, I went down to California to Project Walk, and I absolutely fell in love with activity-based training. And I came back with franchise papers from there. And it was in California that I wanted to find a kinesiology student to help me with my home program that I was going to get from there. So I contacted the U of A here, and they kind of fanned my information out like a job posting to the Faculty of Kinesiology. And so that's how I met Nancy. She was one of the 12 people who responded, and she's been wanting to do this kind of work since she was in grade 7. And so, she just didn't know that she could do it in Canada. She thought her plan was just to move to the States when she was done her degree.
Sorry, Nancy's your co-founder?
Yeah, Nancy is my business partner. She started out as my trainer. And then in 2016, we became business partners. We had always known that there was a need here for a center. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why I was paralyzed, is to bring a center to life here in Edmonton and to help people recover neurologic function and mobility and strength. And so in 2016, she actually got a full-time job offer from a place in Florida, which is an amazing center that we want to emulate. And so I was like, no, you can't go. I need you more. And so she said, okay, well, if I'm going to stay here, then we have to do something worthwhile. And honestly, like right after she said that, the universe was like, okay, ladies, here, let me open this door for you. And here's this door, and here's this opportunity. And so everything just kind of lined up the way it was supposed to. And we were able to open on April 3rd of 2017. And it's been thriving ever since. We do offer activity-based training as our main program. And since then, we've also, Nancy's taken other courses, or we sent our staff to other courses. So now, for over 4 years later, we're at 175 clients. We have 12 staff members. We're in a 5,000 square foot facility where we run about 25 sessions a day, which is insane for me to think about. But, it's just, we're helping so many people, and every single person who comes to see us is seeing some sort of benefit. And the biggest benefit of all is their quality of life is being increased. People really see a big surge in their confidence, and that's really what's really important to us. Is we really want to infuse people with confidence, because as you know, as somebody with a disability, it's really, really hard to go out into the able-bodied world and make a space for yourself, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's so great. And you mentioned you started the idea, post becoming paralyzed. Do you feel like it was a transition? Was it a natural path from what you're doing with your career before that, or was this a big kind of pivot and something new?
Oh, this is huge, very, very new. Before I was paralyzed, I was working as an X-ray technologist in a clinic. And before that, I was working in the cardiac cath lab in a hospital. And so, that job is very much, you do your job, you leave it at work, and then you go home, and then that's it, right? And then after being paralyzed, I could no longer do that job from a wheelchair. And so I really didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know what my future was going to look like, what job I could possibly do. And then with this, it was a really steep learning curve. I had to learn how to first run a nonprofit, right? Run a business. Nonprofit just means that you can't have money at the end, but it's still a business. So you still need to learn how to market, how to do accounting, how to do all of the things that are entailed in a business. And I had zero experience with that. So steep learning curve. But luckily there are a lot of supports in place for entrepreneurs. And I had recently found out, I think 2 years ago, I found out about a company that helps entrepreneurs with disabilities. And I was like, oh, where were you 4 years ago?
Yeah.
They were there. I just didn't know about them.
And as far as job satisfaction with your new career, do you feel like you've really been able to enjoy what you do?
Oh, 1,000%. Yes, for sure. I mean, everything comes with its challenges, right? I mean, there's a lot of adulting that we have to do. There's a lot of like, things that have to be done on a timely manner, and a lot of forms need to be filed every year and that kind of stuff. But that's not really the stuff that I like. That's the stuff that we have to do. What I
Right.
love though is being able to interact with people with disabilities, their families, their caregivers, their children, their just people, right? And like being able to see them grow and really believe in themselves, because a lot of the people that we work with, the medical system has written them off, said, sorry, we can't do anything more for you. We don't think you're going to recover. Basically, we don't think you're worth it. And that breaks my heart every single time, because I firmly believe that every single human being on this planet deserves respect and dignity. It doesn't matter how many letters you have behind your name. It doesn't matter how many degrees are hanging on your wall. If you don't treat people with respect and dignity, you're not much of a human to me. And so that's why our doors are always wide open. Whether we can help you or not, you can still be our friend. We will still support you however which way we can. And more than anything, we will try to hook you up with other people that we think your personalities would match. Whether you have the same disability or not doesn't matter. But I try to like force people to be friends with each other so then they can support each other too, right? Because I feel like there's so much in that. And with that, I get so much job satisfaction out of this. Honestly, sometimes I go to sleep thinking like, wow, we did this. Like we did this. It's very surreal sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, that's so awesome. It's great that, being able to be someone that people can turn to and, support others when they feel like, there might not be another option left.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's how a lot of people feel. And unfortunately, our medical system here isn't designed to help people with long-term chronic conditions, right? It's great for acute things, but it's not really meant for that. And so that's where we come in. And yeah, like I said, we just try to help and support people whichever way we can.
Yeah, that's awesome. And from the perspective of more as a business owner, do you feel like there's been barriers that you've run into and had to navigate in the course of opening Ryu?
100%, yes. The biggest barrier we have faced is the medical system. They don't believe in what we do. And I'm just generalizing here. There are a few doctors that are very supportive. They believe in what we do. A lot of the nursing staff at our rehab hospital believe in what we do. But there's still a big barrier there, simply because the thought process has been that if you have a central nervous system condition or you have central nervous system damage, you're not going to get anything back. And it's completely false. That's completely false. And the evidence that they've seen, I mean, most doctors will say, well, whatever you get back in those first 2 years is what you're going to get back, right? But the reason they say that is because all of the studies that have been done on people with spinal cord injuries only follow those people for 24 months. So they don't know what's happening after those 24 months. Those people likely are still seeing benefits, still seeing recovery, but because they're not being followed, that data is not being entered. So they're telling people what you get back in those first 24 months is what you're going to get back. And to me, that's like false. That's not accurate.
Yeah, in my own experience and even in stories, I've heard also that 24-month threshold, and you're right, it seems to be antiquated and an updated point of view, I guess, is what we need, which
Yeah.
just sounds like, you're helping to provide.
Well, it's just like, so what happens after that 24 months? Do your cells stop turning over? No, your cells will be turning over until the day you die, right? And even then, they still continue a little bit to turn over. So don't tell me that at the exact 24-month mark from your injury date that you're just going to stop growing and you're going to stop, your body's going to stop. That's not how the human body works, right?
Mhm.
And we get talked to about a lot about false hope, right? We are told that we give out false hope to people. And where, if you talk to most people with disabilities, they'll say you either have hope or you don't have hope. There's no such thing as false hope, right? And so then I turn it back onto them and say, let's talk about false pessimism, because that's real, right?
Right.
Everything
Yeah,
in the
I love that.
right? It's doom and gloom from day one in the spinal cord injury world and brain injury world. And it shouldn't be. There's no need for that, because people are people. Doesn't matter if your brain is injured or your spinal cord is injured, or if you have cancer, or if you have IBS or whatever, you should still be treated with respect and dignity. And for some reason, people with spinal cord injuries and brain injuries are not considered part of that group. And so that's a big thing that I want to change, because it can happen to anyone, as you are aware, right? Like if it can happen to us, it can happen to anybody.
Right.
And so, yeah, I think just having that mentality of like, recovery is an ongoing process and there's no time limit to it, right? So sorry, that was one of the barriers that we faced when opening our business.
Right.
Another is just, I guess, getting our name out there and getting people aware of neuro recovery, simply because of the thought process that has been here for decades, that the central nervous system doesn't recover. A lot of people are very, very skeptical. And I understand that skepticism. And so when we show them our program and we tell them what we do, and we're very transparent about everything. We have nothing to hide. We're not doing voodoo magic. It's not like, if I could sprinkle fairy dust on everybody and make them walk, I'd be a billionaire right now, right? But it's not that. It's just straight up exercise geared with a lot of brain work. It takes a lot of effort from the client in order to reconnect. And so those are just, a couple of the barriers that we've faced.
For sure. I'm also wondering, in the new way of business, I guess, if I can say it that way, where everyone's online and more things are on video calls. A lot of people are enjoying working from home, but I'm not sure in your case would that work in the one-on-one sort of as you say, activity-based setting, or do you find there is benefits there?
We didn't know that we could work from home. And so obviously last year in 2020, when the pandemic hit, everybody's world got flipped upside down, and we were forced to close for 89 days, so just under 3 months. And then we were like, okay, well, what are we going to do? How do we pivot and grow right now? And so we were like, okay, well, let's start offering online sessions. And so we were, and it was a very slow uptake with people wanting to participate in it, because the thought process was, well, I can't move my arms or I can't move my legs. I need somebody else to come move them for me. How am I going to do this alone, sitting at home with you watching me through a computer? Right? That was kind of the main answer that we got from people, which fair, yes, right? There is not going to be anybody there unless you have a caregiver or a family member there to help you or something, but we're not going to be there to help you move your limbs and stuff for you. But what ended up happening is people actually started thriving on it. Their recovery started like speeding up. And the reason that is because all of the onus is now on that client. Because there is nobody there to help you, you have to do it, whether you can or not, whether you can feel it or not, whether you can move it or not, you have to think about it. And the thinking about it part is the most important part about neuro recovery, right? Passive range of motion, passive movement and stuff isn't really going to do much for connecting your brain to your body. It's that active thought process. So, when like we had some clients who are quadriplegics, and we have a couple of clients who are brain injury clients who are quite spastic and, kind of like stuck in their body. They're the ones who thrived. They're the ones who actually saw the most recovery, because like I said, the onus was on them. And so, it worked for those 3 months. We were able to, make enough to cover our bills and stuff. And for myself, I can work at home because a lot of my stuff is just done on a laptop. right? I do the scheduling, I do the emailing and invoicing and all of that kind of stuff. So for me, it wasn't really that big of a shift. I actually quite enjoyed the time off and got some R&R, right? Because when you're working really hard and you're starting to burn out, you know, that's not a good thing either, right? And so Nancy and I, we both got that much needed break that both of us needed. And it also showed us and our clients what they're really capable of and how we can actually make this sustainable. So when we closed again over Christmas for 6 weeks here, our schedule was full with online sessions because people were like, okay, I know this is going to work. I know I can do it. Let's do it. So
Yeah, that's so great. You're able to find the hidden benefits, I guess, of the work from home setting.
yeah, totally.
So one more thing I want to ask, if you can think of one particular aspect of accessibility in the workplace moving forward, what do you think our next best step forward would be?
Definitely the mindset in the medical system, for sure. Once that opens up, we can help so many more people, right? There will be so many more people who will be able to believe in themselves, have increased confidence, and whether they walk or not, that's neither here nor there, right? It's about making sure your lung capacity is good, making sure your skin is healthy, making sure like all of these things, right? So definitely having the medical system on board would be great. And honestly, we're on our way there. We are working hard towards that. And that's something I'll never give up on because it's really important to me and I can see the benefit once that does happen.
Mhm.
And then I guess accessibility wise, funding, right? We are a private clinic, and so we do have to charge. We are a fee for service nonprofit. So we do charge $70 an hour, and we are by far the cheapest center in all of North America. But even at $70 an hour, that's still hard for people to pay when you're on a fixed income.
Right.
And I understand that as I am also on a fixed income, so I get it, right? And so if there was more funding available for private centers like ours in Canada, I feel like there would be more access for people. You know, we do have some government fund agencies covering our cost for our clients, which is great. It's set a precedence because they see the benefit in that, right? They see people getting healthier, which in the long term is going to take them off government supports sooner, or they will need less hospital stays, need less medication, be able to do more things for themselves, right? And so we are seeing some changes in that, which is awesome. It's, you know, it's really nice for me to see people being able to access our programs without having to go into debt or, you know, not having enough funds to do so.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much for your time, Bean, and sharing your thoughts, insights, and helping us to make a difference with the project.
Thank you, Paul, for having me. This was fun. Oh, there's my puppy. Thank you so much. And I love that you're doing this. And I wish you all the best and good luck with this endeavor.
Thanks, Bean.
You're welcome.
That has been Bean Gill, and I'm Paul Vandergrint, and this is Job Talks Access.